We are just an hour and a half away from puck drop of Game 7, and rumors are circulating that Joseph Woll might not be available due to an injury. So we're going to break that down and discuss a recent report from Elliot Friedman that highlights the actual truth behind this. So we're going to break all that down. Before we do, quick reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you're enjoying the daily content and you're part of the 80% who aren't subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button as we're on the road to 8,500 subscribers. Darius, I'm not going to waste any more time. We just recorded the Austin Matthews video about 10 minutes ago, and now we have some stuff circulating, I guess, from Paul Bissonnette, and it started with all of this. And we'll just start with Kyprios, and we'll get to Paul Bissonnette in a second. So Austin Matthews obviously arrived at the first bus with his teammates, and he should be available. But now some rumblings, according to Nick Kyprios, on Joseph Woll's availability for Game 7. I can't make this up. I'm hoping for the Maple Leafs fans that someone else did make it up. And if you were following on Twitter, you have Paul Bissonnette going around everywhere saying that there's something crazy going to drop. I want an apology from all the people telling me I'm trolling. If the bomb drops, I will take a big fat L gladly for it to be a rumor, and that's where it ultimately came from, that it could be a Joseph Woll missing the game. Darius, I don't even know what to say here. Started with the Nylander injury, then it turned into Austin Matthews. Now it looks like Matthews will play, but Joseph Woll might not somehow. This is still speculation at this point, but what are your thoughts on this? An hour and a half away from the biggest game in a very long time for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I don't even know where to start at this point. Like, this is the biggest curveball I've ever seen for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And a curveball in a series full of curveballs. It's been a crazy series all the way to this point. And of course, literally an hour before puck drop, we get another one. It's absolutely insane. And honestly, if the Leafs go into this game without Joseph Woll, I don't like their chances as much. That's just the way it is. Even if they have Austin Matthews, I just don't like their chances as much. But there's a lot going into this. A lot of people right now, if you look at all the reactions on Twitter, and this is like brand new, like there's stuff still coming out by a second. Yeah, like literally a minute ago. A lot of people think that it might just be delusion, but I could, enjoy some speculation like this, that this could be the Leafs just leaking this on purpose, and it's not true, and they're trying to mess with the Bruins. Lots of head games going on so far in this series, and we've seen it all series, from not telling people what the injuries actually were to, hiding people within morning skates and different jersey colors and all that stuff. Like, I could believe it. I can jump on board with that, but I don't know. It started with Biz saying he wasn't sure and he didn't want to say the rumor, but he received a text he didn't like. So it could be a joke. And, a lot of people are obviously saying it could be the Leafs leaking it on purpose. But the most important thing, I think, is I trust like Friedman and Chris Johnson and guys like that. Friedman is not 100% sure about this. He's saying that this is just something that might be happening and it's going crazy on Twitter right now. But he says, yes, he does think it's possible that Samsonov starts tonight, which is a little insane. But again, this is brand new and we'll see how it develops. But insane news right before Game 7.
Yeah, and I can show you the screenshot here. Ignore the sirens in the background. I'm in a hotel. But Elliot Freeman says, all three Toronto goalies, Woll, Samsonov, and Martin Jones, arrived in the second bus. But yes, I do think it is possible Samsonov starts tonight. We will see in warm-up. I mean, this is him kind of hedging his bets, because there's no world where Ilya Samsonov starts if Joseph Woll is completely healthy and available. So it's kind of him hedging his bets, but he doesn't know for sure. But again, Nick Kyprios and Paul Bissonnette. And Paul Bissonnette, obviously former NHL player, former NHL, he's not really an insider now, but he gives some stuff as it kind of comes out, and it's very very interesting, and I don't even know what to think. I mean, if Joseph Woll doesn't play, this is about as bad as you could have asked, because he's been the reason that the Leafs won the past two games. Obviously everyone else has stepped up, the makeshift first and second line, like we've been discussing for the past few days. But there is, if Samsonov goes in net, let alone the fact that Woll's a way better goalie right now, the head game or the mental state that Ilya Samsonov would have to be in to be thrown into a Game 7 on the road is beyond what I think Leaf fans would want. And you can see this tweet here from Jeff Vallette saying, why is everything about this team even more chaotic than usual in the series? And I agree with them. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like one of the craziest, obviously the craziest series in the NHL right now, but I have no faith in Ilya Samsonov, to put it quite frankly, if he is going to get the nod. Hopefully this just ends up being a rumor, but there is no, I'm very worried.
Yeah, and I'm just seeing on Twitter now, people are starting to think that maybe it's Keefe just wanting to put Samsonov in net for some reason to make that lineup decision. That would be a fireable offense at first intermission if Sheldon Keefe did that, in my opinion. Like, there's no way that's the case. If Woll's not playing, there's obviously an illness or an injury there. Listen, again, it could be the delusion. I think it could be the Leafs messing with the Bruins, honestly, just putting it out there and playing head games before. These things matter in the playoffs, these mental things, right? Because if Woll was injured and Samsonov starting, that is a mental boost for the Bruins. and that is something you got to worry about if you're a Leaf. If this was not even a story, the Leafs obviously have the advantage coming into this game in terms of momentum. So it's a big turn of events here and another curveball in the series. And I don't know. Hopefully, Wall does play. There's nothing to suggest that this time. Nobody said anything that he's injured or anything like that. There's just questions about his availability from insiders. And I should say that Nick Kyprios started this all too, or Biz, I guess. He didn't, actually say Wall, but it did come from Biz first, the rumblings. But yeah, just absolutely crazy. And things are unfolding as we speak on Twitter. Lots of crazy reactions. People think the team is cursed, all that good stuff. So it wouldn't be game 7 without a curveball like this. So it's all in good fun, but hopefully Walt does play. But again, it could be just mind games.
Yeah, I mean, if Wall doesn't play, I would say the Leafs are. I mean, we already know the Leafs are cursed, but they would be cursed even more. And we look now. I guess we showed this in yesterday's or the video from like literally 20 minutes ago. But Matthews coming back. How much does all of this matter if our best goalie, the guy who's been outplaying Jeremy Swayman, who's had one of the best, he's been playing very well. There was question marks about whether the Bruins and Jim Montgomery were going to bring in Ullmark for tonight's game. It seems like Jeremy Swayman is going to be the one who gets the nod for the Bruins, but I don't know. Again, like you said, Paul Bissonnette, he's gotten things right in the past. If you remember and think back to the William Nylander thing, he got his injury basically right before it came out from the team, before he knew more about that. And now he also said earlier today that there was rumblings that Matthew's going to be returning, which was also right. So hopefully he doesn't go 3 for 3 in this case. We won't know, I guess, for about an hour when the puck drop, I guess the warm-ups and they all come out. But Darius, absolute nightmare. And the biggest thing now is, for me at least, obviously we discussed Joseph Woll and these things, is Samsonov being prepared. And I would think that maybe Samsonov would have been given the heads up. I'd hope this wasn't an injury that he got, like rolling his ankle, getting off the team bus or something like that, because that would be truly worst case scenario in Leafs fashion.
So it seems like almost at
yeah,
this point.
it seems like it literally just happened. But if that isn't the case and Samsonov had some time to, at least a day or something, to think about it, then maybe we'll be in better shape. But again, we're not going to know that. Like, no faith in Ilya Samsonov
No.
for me, as sad as that sounds. But I just don't have any faith. And I have doubts about Game 7 if this is the case. But I don't know.
I think that's just the truth. Like he hasn't shown us anything this series to have faith in him, right? But I think the one thing, like on the other side of things for Samsonov, if he's going to be the starter for this game, which would be considered a disaster, is he's had no time to think about it. Like he's probably just been told too that he'll be starting if that's the case, and I think that's a good thing to just be thrown into the fire. Maybe not in the middle of a game, but so at least he didn't have to think about it all night and think about it all morning. Oh my God, I'm going to go into a game 7, all that. He's just going to jump into it, and hopefully he can try and play with some confidence. And the team knows what they need to do. But again, this is a massive mental hurdle if this is a thing that's happening tonight. If Wall is not playing and Samsonov is in net, for both, like this is a huge mental curveball for both teams. Like I feel like the Bruins might be feeling a little bit better about themselves, and the Leafs are like, I don't know, like what if he lets in a stinker, right? Hopefully he's good to go. Nobody said anything about a specific injury. They just said his availability might be questionable, so it is a question mark. But hopefully he plays. That would be obviously best case scenario.
Yeah, we'll have you covered either way. And hopefully what Jeff Ouellette says here doesn't come into reality, and hopefully everything is not as chaotic as it seems. With that, I'll wrap it up. Let us know what your thoughts are, and hopefully the Leafs aren't cursed again.